Hello, I'm Sarah Muirhead, editor at Feedstuffs, and welcome to this Feedstuffs Fast Chat. Today we're talking with Dave Whitty, product manager at Forage Genetics International. Welcome, Dave. Thank you for joining us here today.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
So let's jump right into what we're discussing here today, and that is striking that balance between yield and quality when it comes to alfalfa. Talk to us about what have you learned from the market about how producers are managing that balance that we just talked about.
Historically, yield versus quality, there's been a trade-off, right? You could harvest at 26, 28 days and get high quality forage, but you're sacrificing yield. Or you could go for more yield at 30, 32 days, but you're sacrificing forage quality. So there's always a trade-off. Do you manage for yield? Do you manage for quality? And you're sacrificing one or the other. But now with HarvXtra Alfalfa, which was recently introduced to the market, now it gives growers that flexibility to manage for both on their operation.
So what tools or technologies are really helping producers optimize, as you talked about, yield and quality?
So the HarvXtra Alfalfa trait really is giving growers the opportunity to manage for yield and for quality. It gives them the flexibility to harvest early at a 28-day schedule, and they can get 15% higher fiber digestibility than conventional alfalfa, 15% higher relative forage quality than conventional alfalfa, or they can delay their harvest out to 35, 37 days, getting additional yield. Because every day that you let alfalfa grow, it's about an inch a day, about 125 pounds of dry matter per day. So over a week, you get almost a half a ton of additional dry matter per acre with delayed harvest with HarvXtra. So it really gives growers a lot of options and flexibility to manage around weather events, family events, equipment breakdowns, holidays in the summer. We've always known that delayed harvest increases yield. University of Wisconsin ran a study showing that a 3-cut always out-yielded a 4-cut. Delayed harvest will always, there's not a lot in agriculture where you can do less and get more, but with a delayed harvest, plants are healthier, they recover quicker, the roots replenish. So just a lot of value in being able to have a delayed harvest with HarvXtra and manage around weather events and equipment breakdowns.
The traditional equation is more yield equals lower quality, but HarvXtra Alfalfa really changes that, doesn't it?
It does. And when we first launched HarvXtra on the market, we thought that growers were going to harvest at a 28-day schedule and realize the value of that higher quality, higher NDFD. Dairy nutritionists were going to be able to balance high producing dairy diets a lot easier. But the market has really showed us that a delayed harvest has more value to these growers. So they can cut at a 35-day schedule, get higher yield, still get dairy quality forage like a conventional have at 28 days. But there's a lot of other benefits that we've seen with a delayed harvest. Alfalfa plants are like every other plant in the world. It wants to go to seed, right? So you aggressively cut alfalfa at a 28-day schedule. It puts a lot of stress on that plant. They're more likely to be exposed to diseases and have stresses from diseases. A delayed harvest, the plants are able to replenish those root carbohydrates. They really jump out of the ground. They're really very vigorous from a delayed harvest. The canopy is closed for more of the growing season, so it prevents weeds from establishing, chokes out any of those weed seedlings that are trying to establish. So the value of HarvXtra, the delayed harvest, gives additional yield, additional weed control, additional flexibility around weather events. So the market has told us that delayed harvest really has been where the landing spot is for producers in the market.
So do you think grower expectations have changed in recent years when it comes to alfalfa performance, and how's the industry kind of evolving to help meet those expectations?
Producers are always looking to be more profitable on their acre, right? So now we've got to the market HarvXtra Alfalfa, which, as I just explained, gives them flexibility, gives them options. All HarvXtra varieties are also stacked with a Roundup Ready trait. So Roundup Ready allows for establishment right out of the gate. You don't have to wait for alfalfa to be 3 to 4 trifoliates like you do with conventional herbicides. Conventional herbicides, especially the broadleaf ones, create a lot of crop injury, or Roundup Ready, or Roundup doesn't have any crop injury on alfalfa. So you get dairy quality feed on that first cutting of the seeding area with Roundup Ready alfalfa, and HarvXtra Alfalfa stacked with Roundup Ready versus conventional alfalfa. And these HarvXtra varieties stacked with Roundup also on the market today have the UltraCut disease resistance package. So those That disease resistance package provides protection against Aphanomyces at establishment, which Aphanomyces is a root pruner. It stunts the plants that are susceptible to that pathogen. So these new varieties really are quite vigorous at establishment. When we have heavy rains throughout the growing season, ultra-cut varieties protect against those weather events that activate those pathogens in the soil. So the stacking HarvXtra, Roundup Ready, and UltraCut on these new varieties in the market really have allowed producers to be more profitable.
Very neat. So where should folks go to get more information?
So if they want more information on HarvXtra, they can go to HarvXtra.com.
That's all we have time for here today. Thank you, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you to all of you for tuning in as well to this Feedstuffs Fast Chat.